Heather, welcome to the gift this morning. And let's talk about gifts, because we all have a gift, don't we?
Yes, I do believe we all have gifts. And I think that the gift of the Lord is what makes you special and unique. So that your gift, the thing that God has put in you that is special is what makes you unique. And I think it's really important to find what that gift is, or to acknowledge what that gift is. Don't you?
Yeah, I would certainly agree with that. We need to find what our giftings are. But maybe some people struggle with that because they're not sure what their exact gift is. I mean, maybe they've got more than one gift, but how do you think we might discover our gifts and use them as well? Because we need to use our gifts as well, don't we?
Well, yes, because what you don't use, you lose.
Yeah.
I think it's really, really important. So I think a gift bubbles up inside of you when you're little. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, whether you're musical, whether you're creative, whether you're verbal, whether you're academic, whether you're not academic, but you might be really physical and sporty, or this and that, the other. There's a plethora of different things that people are gifted in. And I think the first thing is to think, what do I really love? A gift shouldn't be hard work.
No.
It should be something that you really enjoy. Now, I can perhaps only just speak from experience. I was never a mathematician, never.
Nor me.
I never was, and I never will be.
Nor me.
Off the table. But when I was young, my parents were given a really old honky-tonk piano.
Okay.
So we had this honky-tonk piano in the house, and I took to that piano. I mean, I was too young to even know what I was doing, but I took to that piano and I loved it. I loved it. Now, I have two sisters. They also had the honky-tonk piano in the home. But you know what? My parents, they gave us all piano lessons. I was the only one that took to it. The other two didn't like it at all. They couldn't get it. They didn't want it. Now, does that mean that I'm better than them?
Right.
Not at all.
No. No.
My sisters have gifts that I don't have. You know? But with me, it was a creative musical thing that just was born in me. Does that mean to say that, she can play the piano, I can't? Does someone now compare themselves with me thinking, oh, she's so lucky, she can play the piano? No, it's a gift that is given. And I had no idea when I was little. I would have been maybe 6 or 7 or 8, when I started playing, honky-tonking the piano. I had no idea that God would put me in a situation where later on I could sing with Len, that I could play guitar with Len, accompany Len on the keyboard, then write worship songs, lead worship. I had no idea. But isn't it interesting that I was the one who went into ministry with Len and needed that gift to serve the Lord in our church. But my other 2 sisters, they didn't go into that situation, so they didn't need to play keyboard or guitar or whatever. But I loved it, and I still do.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So I think when someone gives you a gift, it's something that should be a joy and a passion that you have. Now, look, some people just love to spend a day in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of anything worse. I would love to spend a day chopping down trees, cleaning up my garden. That would be therapy for me, and I love it. Cooking is a chore.
Yeah.
So, okay. Len's very gracious.
I'm sure he loves your cooking.
I do it. Some people live to eat. Some people eat to live. I'm one of those people that eat to live, you know. It doesn't worry me. But Len just loves his food. So I cook. But I wouldn't say it was a gift.
No.
And none of my family would say it was a gift. I do. It's all alive. But, you know, it's just, so I think that if you're looking to say, well, Lord, what is my gift? Look for what you love. Look for what gives you joy. Now, look, it doesn't mean to say that every time we have a band practice or every time we sing or whatever, it's absolutely amazing. But it doesn't worry me. I just love it.
Yeah.
And it's just a joy to me. It's something that I know. And I don't say a gift with any pride at all. I don't say it with any pride.
No.
Because with the gift comes, like you said, Jeannie, with the gift comes responsibility to use that gift for the Lord. And isn't that what you and Paul are doing?
Yeah. I think you have to keep that gift alive, Heather. I know when I was a child, I used to stand on a table outside in the garden and entertain the neighbours. And, you know, I would sing my heart out. And I can remember that. But I never ever thought I would be able to sing in front of other people. You know, I would think, oh no, I'm a bit shy. But the funny thing is, the Lord chose me. And as you say, Paul and I sing, and God puts something within you, as you say.
And isn't it interesting that God gave Paul to you, and as a team, see, you couldn't do on your own what you and Paul do together.
That's right.
You bounce off each other, you sing together, you harmonize with Paul, you have fun in your communication. Yeah. You just seem like a pigeon pair, a perfect perfect pair. Thank you. And that's how I look at, you know, when Len and I got together, it was such a joy. I mean, look, I don't class myself as a singer. And if you were to ask Len, is your wife a singer? He'd say, she's got other gifts, but she's not really a singer. Okay. But what I love to do is what you do, and you harmonize. So I would harmonize with Len. He's got other people, like some of your listeners may remember Gwen Murray. Yes. She's now Gwen Murray Newman. Yes. And she sang so beautifully with Len. There was no one like Gwen to harmonize with Len. But I'm not jealous. I think, oh, Gwenny, you just sound so beautiful singing with Len. I'm not one bit jealous.
That's a lovely attitude.
But why should we be jealous of one another's giftings when they're presents from God?
Exactly, Heather.
And I can't do what another person does.
No.
As well as they do, because they're gifted in what I don't.
That's right. That's so
I
true.
just think just to be content with the personality that God. Some people really despise their personality. Like for some people, I know people who say to me, "Oh, I'm such a melancholy. You know, I think deeply, and sometimes I you know, it's heavy in my heart. You know, a melancholy." But you know, it's often the melancholy that produces the best songs, or can go deep in the heart of a person's emotions and bring, you know, a counselor can be and melancholy, because they understand the depths of a person's emotions. So with every personality and with every characteristic, there's a positive, and then there's the flip side, there's the negative.
Yeah.
So the thing to do is to recognize your gifting as a responsibility, as a love gift from the Lord, which is such a privilege to serve the Lord anyway, because, you know, serving is not a gift. Serving is the heart of a Christian before their Heavenly Father. So serving in whatever the gift is what we need to find out.
Yeah.
And so I think that's, you know, but with a gift can come a negative as well.
Okay.
So say, for instance, someone who has a personality who does have a special gift for helps or serving can often need more encouragement than the average person, because that servant heart needs to be encouraged. So I think it's really good to understand, yes, what you're good at and what you're gifted at, but also to recognize what you're not good at, and not make that a big deal. You know, concentrate on the positive and what we can do for the Lord, and don't worry about what we can't, because someone else will do that.
Yeah. And don't you think, Heather, that sometimes other people can recognize our giftings more than we can ourselves?
I think that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Because some people don't feel that they've got any giftings,
No.
or don't feel like they've got anything to offer.
Or it's, you know, very small and not special.
Yes. Oh, there's nothing small that's given by God. It's the way we use it.
Exactly. I have to agree.
Yeah,
it is.
And our responsibility, it shouldn't be a heavy burden. It should be a joy. We had a lady in our church who I won't name, but she was in the kitchen at church, and she used to busy herself in the kitchen and doing all kinds of things. Now, we were practicing on the stage one Sunday morning, and I asked a friend of mine to go to ask this lady in the kitchen if she could make 5 coffees for the band members who'd been practicing and would love a coffee. Now, I say, coffee's good before church. It really is. It really
yeah, me too.
So we wanted a coffee. We'd been practicing for an hour and we wanted a coffee. So my friend went and said, oh, such and such, do you think you could possibly make 5 coffees for the band? And she snapped back at my friend. I'm not here to serve the band. Oh, well, what's she doing in the kitchen then? Sorry, I don't understand that. Isn't that your joy, to be in the kitchen and make drinks, serve food, do stuff? I'm not here to serve the band. Let them come and get their own coffees. Oh, really? Well, we were busy. We were on our instruments. We were in the zone preparing to minister, and, you know, we thought, oh, well, all right, we'll get our own coffees, no worries. But that's not a gift. She was in the wrong gift.
That's right. And some people are in the wrong giftings and it doesn't suit them. And I think sometimes, Heather, people do it, that thing, whatever it may be, is because there is a need.
Or they feel guilty.
Like,
oh,
that's right.
We need someone in the kitchen. You know, God has done so much for you. What are you doing for God? I mean, seriously, that's not how to draw out someone's gift.
No, I know someone who has an intercessory in prayer gift. They love to pray for people, and they were asked to do the teas and coffees at their church, and they had no objection of doing teas and coffees because they used to stand in if a person was not well and couldn't make it that day.
Yes.
And the person who was making them wanted to sort of like retire from that job now, shall we say, but she really felt it wasn't her gifting. And
No.
she said, I just really don't feel it's for me. I've got nothing against making teas and coffees, but I don't feel that's me. So I said, well, if that's not you, it's not you.
No.
It might not be your gift, but there was somebody else in the church who'd been praying, saying to the Lord, oh, Lord, I really want to be used of you. What can I do?
Yeah.
And when she heard about making the teas and coffees of a Sunday morning at their church, it was wonderful. She said, that's it. That's what I want to do. I want to do this. This is me. This is me all over. I want to do it. And she was very excited about it. Now, if that other person had stepped in, the person who wanted to do the teas and coffees, who felt it was their gift, shall we say, would have missed out.
Yes. Now, we have someone in our church, and he doesn't like to be up front. He doesn't like to speak. He's not a public figure at all. But you know what? He loves to come early in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, and set up for our worship team and make it all beautiful. He brings the trees in,
Beautiful.
They call it Heather's Forest. And he just plugs in all the equipment so that when the singers arrive, because we set up church every
That's right.
Sunday. So when the singers arrive and when the musicians arrive, he's got it all set up. And he said, Heather, this is the pinnacle of my week. I love doing this.
Beautiful.
I said, oh, I'm so glad for you. I'm so grateful for you. Because I couldn't do it.
Exactly.
I couldn't do that. But he can.
Yeah.
And that's his gift.
Yeah,
and he loves it. It's not a burden. He enjoys it.
No, it may be a background gift, but thank God for people like that who do have that gift in that way to make it possible for you to minister in your own church.
And do you know what? When we get to heaven and the Lord, in his love and mercy, gives out those rewards that he talks about in Scripture.
Yes.
Those people who've given a glass of water lovingly, who've served his ministers lovingly, who've been in the background that no one has noticed, who's been in the children's church that no one has noticed, and yet looked after the mothers and children. All those background ministries, you know what, are going to be as important as every single public ministry.
Extremely important. I would agree there.
And yet the people who do that can feel that it's not as important. But we who are up front just appreciate you all so much in the background.
Very much. Very much. Heather, you talk about the round of honor. Explain that to me. You talked to me about that before, but tell me a bit more about this, because it's something affirming, if I remember rightly. Can you explain it to me?
Yes. Okay, so Len and I have a tradition in our family called the Round of Honor. Now, it happens on everyone's birthday. So whether it's Len, me, or Matt, Hanny, her husband, or if someone has invited us to a church function, it's a birthday, we initiate it. And the Round of Honor is that the person's birthday it is that we're celebrating is the focal point, and everyone else at the table is asked to say something really precious about that person. So and I think it's interesting you talk about the gift, because very often you'll find that what is said around the table is the affirmation of what we see as that person's gift.
Right.
So we'll say, to someone, oh, what we love about you is you're so encouraging. You're so encouraging. Every opportunity you get, you talk to, or for instance, every time you talk to someone, they feel like you make them feel the most precious person to them, or the dearest friend at that time. Now that's a gift.
That's very affirming, actually.
Yeah. Now, your Paul is interesting. I said to him while we were setting up this video call, I have a problem, as you know, with technology. It
Yes.
doesn't come naturally. And sometimes my camera works, sometimes it doesn't. Oh, it frustrates me. Now, your Paul comes in. Oh, he's got the most calming voice.
Yeah.
And he doesn't make me feel stupid that I can't press the right button and do all that. He says, "Don't worry, Heather, we'll work it out. Don't worry." And he's got this most beautiful, calming voice that is so lovely. I mean, gosh,
Yes,
that is a gift.
it is.
Just his mannerisms and his voice is the most beautiful gift. So if it was his birthday and I was the person sharing on the round of honor, I would say that to Paul. I say, "Paul, you are amazing. I'm all, frustrated that I can't, get the camera on and I can't get the Zoom call working, blah, 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 blah." And he comes in and says, "Don't worry, Heather. We'll sort it out." And I think, oh, and my blood pressure goes down. I think, oh, thank God for Paul. I think all technicians should have that mannerism about them. That's what I say. And so the round of honor. So when you finish that round of honor and everyone at the table has said something really special about that person,
Yeah. And that's good.
that person goes out feeling $1 million.
Yeah.
And goes, oh, and that draws out a person's gift.
Definitely.
Even parents with children have the opportunity to draw out that gift that they see that's in that child, even when they're little.
Yeah.
And I think a gift from the Lord in a person's personality or characteristics or whatever, I think that those things show themselves quite early in a child's development.
Yeah, I would agree with that. They often do develop very early, don't they?
Yeah.
That sort of gifting. Yeah,
Yeah.
very much so.
If someone's gonna be verbal, you'll see a very verbal kid.
Yeah, how true is that? Heather,
And then the parents spend all their time trying to shut it up. Whereas that could be a gifting later on.
That's true. Heather, you definitely have a gift of writing, and you write for us on Thought for the Day, and they have been such a blessing to us on Living Stones Church on the internet. And you've also written a book also.
Oh, there I am.
There you are. And
Yeah.
you are such a good communicator of the written word. Now, can people learn to communicate well? I mean, have you got any tips for us this morning?
Well, I think this is probably how it could be best be put. Gifts can be honed. By that I mean they can be worked on. Now, I never ever knew that I would write a book. It was the furthest thing from my mind. But I was in a situation where time permitted and my circumstances and the Lord put something in my heart to write. Now, I didn't know whether those words would ever see the light of day. I didn't know. But I wrote and I wrote and I wrote. And someone said to me, "Heather, if you're writing a book initially, just write. It doesn't have to be skillful in the first edit. Just bring out what's in your heart in any which way." So I did. I just let it flow. And the more I wrote, the more it flowed and flowed and flowed. Even the chapters, just, I just kept going until it finished. And then I read it back and I thought, oh, gosh, that needs a bit of work. But what I'd done initially was to draw out the flow of what I was trying to say. Then, and oh my gosh, this is what takes the time. And it's hard work. Anyone who wants to write a book must know it's going to be hard work.
Yes.
Because every page has to be read and reread and change so that the words flow.
Yeah.
That's what takes the time. Now, that's what I would say, for me, music was something that I loved, but I had to learn. And I had to spend many hours at the keyboard honing and learning. And then as I played in a band, I learned to play with other people. So you're growing all the time. And I think if you have something that you love, say if you're a housewife and you love to cook, well, you'll have a real heart to go to the recipe book and, oh, we'll try this and we'll try that. And when you go shopping, you're all the time thinking of which herbs go with this and which this, If I go around the shops, I'm just, grabbing this, grabbing that, all the basics. As long as we have the basics, we're fine. But so you grow and you try new recipes and you try new this and that and the other, and you love doing it. I had to learn the keyboard and I spent hours doing it. A lot of kids don't even want to learn keyboard now because it takes a lot of time. So some people would rather just, learn guitar. I don't mean just learn guitar.
No.
Guitarists are brilliant to me. We've got a couple in our church that are just amazing. I don't even know how they do it. So we all, even if you're a musician, then you've got the choice, which instrument?
Of course.
And, so giftings are so varied. But in that is so much fun. But yes, then you hone the skills. And I used to be so frightened to talk publicly. But over the years, Len has encouraged me so much. He has. And I would say that his love has been like the sunshine on a little flower that felt safe to bloom.
Beautiful.
And I would say, for anyone out there listening to this, if you have children, if you have teenagers, even if you have friends, whoever you are, encourage what you see in them as a gift.
Yeah.
Because encouragement is like fertilizer on a little plant. Without watering, it'll die. Len has been the one, particularly in my life, that has just poured in the fertilizer and has given me the confidence to grow. And now I feel I love talking to you. I love talking to people on Living Stones. I love it.
Yes.
It's just a joy. But that's grown over the years.
Yeah.
So I would say, even if you've got a little seed of something that you love, work on it, fertilize it, water it, and then you'll find, if it's a gift, other people will recognize it.
Yeah, that's encouraging to people this morning. So Heather, lastly, how do you get your inspiration, do you think then, for writing Thought for the Day, a devotion for Living Stones? Where do you get your inspiration from, would you say?
Well, I'll tell you a secret. Those devotions that you put up on the Living Internet were actually things that I wrote, which I spoke in church, and I used to play keyboard and I spoke them in worship. So I would maybe work on a worship program, and maybe we were talking about, well, I think one of the recent ones you've had up on Living Stones has been Jesus the Good Shepherd. And
I love the sheep one. I just love it.
Yeah. So we were maybe doing some songs about the shepherd, and I wrote a song about Jesus being our shepherd. So I was in that zone of thinking about shepherds and sheep, and actually I'm married to an ex-farmer who used to look after sheep. So I've listened to many of his messages as well. But so I'm in the zone and I'm thinking about sheep maybe, and then all of a sudden I start to bring something that I think, draw out of that worship, and I put it pen to paper. And it's very often a seed thought that I just feel a kick of the Holy Spirit. I think, wow, I'm going to start writing and sit and see what comes forth. There have been some pages that have just gone straight in the bin. the ones that you're putting are the ones that I've chosen out of the ones that I've written. I've written many, and so I'm sending you the ones that maybe possibly you can use, and if you can, you're very welcome. But yes, so they've come out of just my devotions often. Some of them have come through listening to Len's messages and then going home going, oh wow, and I've written something. So it's once again it bubbles up in my heart.
Yes.
And you begin to put it on paper. But I tell you, if you want to be a writer, or if you want to do anything in communication, I would say read a lot, because the way you pick up a lot out of reading other people's work.
Yes. Yes.
I just love good journalism. I love it.
Yes.
I love it when someone has got a descriptive way of putting something that could be quite boring.
Yeah, exactly.
But they it's like an artist. I have a really good friend who is a very, very good artist, and he'll come around, because he does some work around the house for me every now and again, and he'll say to me, oh Heather, look at the color in that sky today. I haven't even looked up that high. And I look up and I go, oh my gosh, yes. He said, Heather, it's got the color of purple in that blue. I go, so it has. Now, a writer is someone who can do that with words. What a painter does with his brush and color, what a musician does in their music, what a writer does in their writing, they are looking at something and seeing a way to put something that maybe brings a different color in, or a different way of the person seeing something. And that's what I love. And everyone who's a writer, no one is the same. Everyone's unique. And what you write, your lovely devotions, they're beautiful. You're communicating out of who you are, out of something God's put in your heart.
That's right.
And the way Paul writes is unique to him. The way I write is unique to me. Does it make anyone better? Not at all. No. Someone said to me, Heather, you're the best person to be Heather ever. Because you're the only one.
Lovely. That is lovely.
So I would say to everyone listening here today, you are the best one at being who you are. Don't try and be who anyone else is. Don't try and write like me. Don't try and be like me. Don't try and be like Paul and Jeannie. They're who they are, and they sparkle as they allow the Lord to shine through them.
Heather.
You sparkle in who God's made you, and you're going to be a gift.
Yeah. Heather, I think that's a lovely place to finish here, because I think you have encouraged all of us who are listening this morning. So, Heather, thank you so much for joining me for the gift this morning. Thank you. Brilliant.